we here. I know it's kind of late, whatever the case may be, but we're gonna be here for about maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes. We'll see how we're feeling. For the most part, got caught up in some stuff today, a little bit. So, but we here though. Y'all know my disclaimer. I'm not a pastor preacher. I don't hold any type of office in the church. So please do not lay claims of those titles on me. We're not here to violate any type of community guidelines, any type of copyright infringement, or any type of privacy guidelines at all. Shout out to everybody who's going to join us live now in the middle, and those who want to catch it when it uploads to YouTube. We back with another topic. I believe this topic was requested by a subscriber. This is a subscriber requested topic. I received the email. And I kind of reworded it, a little bit for whatever the case may be, but this was more so of a subscriber requested topic. You know what I mean? I see a lot of people like to talk about relationships, dating, marriages. Why? I don't know. Can somebody enlighten me? Why a lot of y'all like to talk about relationships, marriages, and dating and things like that? Let me know. There's more topics out there to talk about, but they try to figure out whatever angle they could try to put it as far as dating. Your prodigal son is funny. Oh man, but this is a good topic though, whatever the case may be, But it's what's the proper way for dating as a Christian? In holiness, / in holiness. Great discussion. The proper way. All right. Shout out to everybody out there. What's up to all the people in the background? I know it was some fireworks yesterday. It was some fireworks yesterday. I tell you that. It's YouTube. It's YouTube. You understand? You know what I mean? A bunch of fireworks, landmines, all that. Y'all people's funny, But what's up with Dredo? Henry Ross says, if they're going to make sure 2 or 3 more goes with them, the guys look out for the guys and the girls look out for the girls, just in case no one gets the sweets and smells sauce doing wicked. Well, let me tell you something, Mr. Henry Ross. A group of people could go with the 2 people on a date, but it's still 24 hours in a day. You understand? They could go out in the group. They go out for an hour or 2. 12 o'clock come. Listen, what you doing? I ain't doing nothing. You want to come over? Stuff like that still can happen. They still can knock boots, whether you go in a group or not. I know that is the way that is taught, which is cool. But what I'm saying is after the fact. You know what I mean? Them group of people ain't gonna be with them folks late at night. How do you stop that? How do you stop that, huh? Them late night texts, what you doing? Huh? You in the bed? What you wearing? What color you got on? Come on now. People beans be jumping. Especially if you are holding yourself. You know what I mean? Celibacy. You seem to be more vulnerable. Your beans are jumping more. You know what I mean? It's rough. It is rough. You understand? He says self-discipline. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool until them cold nights come. That's cool until them nights come. You understand? What you gonna do? What you gonna do, huh? Or what should a person do? A person who's really striving. I think Gino, he preached or taught on, I think he was preaching on a woman keeping herself. He was preaching on women who are in celibacy, but they have those type of dreams, those type of thoughts. You understand? So people could say, listen, I'm this, I'm that, I'm self-disciplined, X, Y, Z. Don't tempt things. I wouldn't do it. You understand? Don't tempt things. You know what I mean? I forgot which video that was he was talking about. All right. What's up, the solid ground? Shout out to you. I don't understand what you wrote the first time. I don't know. What's up with Jonah? Shelly House. All right, Jonah. He put the bylaws up there. Uh-oh. Jonah put the bylaws and whatnot. It says code of conduct, relationships and intentions of marriage, general advisement. Number 1, courtship is practiced in the traditional sense. It's not a part of holy teachings. Webster's, what is that? And you put another word, I don't know how to pronounce that. Dictionary defines courtship as the wooing of one person by another. The period which, solidicates, favors, etc. behavior in animals before and during mating. Number 2, a sister is not to backtrack, not to track down or corner a brother. That's funny. That's hilarious. And it says, a brother is not to use the house of God as a shopping center when seeking a wife. I like that one. That I like. And it also says that you wrote down, we strongly employ the scripture found in 1 Corinthians 14 and 40. And got a hat on, I can't read the scripture. Basically, it's talking about being decently in order. Number 8, it says, if going out, it is advised that the couple not go alone, but take a chaperone or go out as a group with brothers and sisters. That's good. My thing is, I like the question after the fact. After the date is over, after all of that is over with. You know what I mean? What should brothers and sisters do when their beans are jumping? You know, hurry up to the altar. Let's get married tonight, girl. Huh? Should we do that? You know, let us know. Those in the chat room and whatnot, what's your opinions about that? For surety. Because at some point, a man and a woman, they're going to have that type of conversation. Some people are disciplined of having those type of conversations. Some are not. You know what I mean? Let us know. Henry Ross says, isn't dating is for married folks and should only? Nah. You said dating is only for married people. Nah. How you gonna get to know the woman to marry her? You know what I mean? How the sister's gonna get to know the brother to marry him, to want to marry him? You know what I mean? How they gonna learn each other's personalities and characteristics without going out, experiencing each other's personalities, conversation, and things of that nature? You know what I mean? And the scripture, the bylaw said, you know, bring a chaperone or whatever the case may be whenever they go out. You know? What's up to M. Maxwell? Shout out to you. Okay, Henry Ross says, I wouldn't call it dating when they're not married. I'll just call it mingling, socializing, fellowshipping. I mean, if that's what you want to call it, but, you know, people could call it whatever they want. Dating, socializing, courting, getting to know each other. You know what I mean? All in all, you're still getting to know that person. All in all, whatever people want to call it. You understand? At the end of the day, if you are, you know, talking to a woman, y'all still gonna have to get to know each other. I mean, you can call her anything you want. You know what I mean? You still got to learn her to see if she's as mean as the devil, you know what I mean, or not. You know what I mean? Bonnie says, I think you can date if you are trying to get to know him or her. All right. What's up, the Marlon? Shout out to you. He says, Brother Tony, how should you approach a Christian woman? Huh? Order in the court. Order in the court. Order in the court. Well, I'm not giving advice as far as like, you know, being a relationship coach or anything like that. You know what I mean? I'm just going to speak in general. A brother should just be himself. Simple. You know what I mean? Simple as that. You know, just be yourself at the end of the day. Show the woman respect. You know what I mean? I think a brother came on here last year. He said he tried to approach a sister in Holiness, respectfully, or whatever the case may be, and she turned him down. What you want me to do? I can't do nothing about that. If she's not interested, then hey, whatever. You understand? Sometimes it's like that. You know what I mean? You could be smelling good and you got your breath smelling good. You know what I'm saying? You got the fresh cut, waved up, nice suit on. I'm about to make my move on sister such and such. You know what I mean? Respectfully, and she turned you down. You know? You got to take that L. Simple. Take the L. Don't stalk the woman. Leave her alone. Don't be going to her Facebook profile looking at her photos. Who this brother keep liking her picture? Why they keep commenting here? You know what I mean? Don't stalk the woman. Hey, just let it be. You know what I'm saying? Let it be. Simple. You know? You know, some people in here, they like people. Come on now. Some people like people in here. Cut it out. You're interested in somebody in Holiness. There's got to be at least one person interested in somebody in Holiness that they don't want to say. Yeah, right. You are. You're interested in them. You don't know how to approach them. Of course, the woman don't approach the man, but she might be interested in that fellow over there. And she's waiting. Cut it out. You understand? If you ain't married, you know what I mean? You interested in somebody, most likely. You know what I mean? And what I said before, even to the people on here looking at people's little emojis and stuff, little pictures on the side. Ooh, look at sister such and such. Wow, man. Ooh, I wonder if she's married. Look at brother such and such. Wow, he's dressed nice in that suit. Wow, he got some nice shoulders. I wonder if he's married. Cut it out. All right. Levy. That's what's up at Levy. We'll do on the prayers. Prodigal Son says, he says double dating, especially back in the teen days. Double dating. I remember times like that. I do remember times like that with the cousin and whatnot, and things of that nature. Prodigal Son says, if not, going to date via FaceTime. You know, that's a good thing. FaceTime dating, you know, watch a movie, eat some popcorn and stuff like that. That's always another safe way also. You know what I mean? It could be a safe way. You know what I mean? Watch a movie together and have ice cream and have positive conversation and whatnot. I mean, that's cool. You know what I mean? What's up to Mr. Dunbar? Shout out to you and Mr. Dunbar. What's up to Ernest Beard? Brother in Holiness, bless. Drago, Mercy Carr, Juana B, shout out to you. Shout out Marlon, what's up to SV? What's up to Georgina Flemings, Virginia? Bless. I think a Christian man should seek a Christian woman and vice versa. I mean, to each his own. To each his own. I mean, some brothers in Holiness, you know, they go for women on the outside of the church. They do. You know what I mean? Some sisters do the same thing. You know what I mean? I mean, there's very few individuals on the outside that got good morals and values, some people may say. You understand? But, you know, some people don't like, some people's not interested in people in, you know, the church. Let's just keep it real. They may have bad experiences with folks in the church. You know what I mean? Let's just keep it real. Brother may have talked to a sister in the church and she's Cruella de Vil. You know what I mean? Could be true. You know what I mean? Sister could talk to a brother in the church. You know what I mean? And he could be talking to 10 other sisters in the church. 10 other sisters. You know what I mean? He could be knocking off 10 other sisters in the church. You know, folks have bad experiences with folks in the church. It has happened. It has happened. Let's just be real. You know what I mean? Some people in church are the biggest whores. Simple as that. Biggest whores in the church. And some be married. Let's just keep it real. You know? I know some folks on here who are going to watch it later on. You know you're married. You tipped in that woman's inbox and you're married. Not that woman's inbox, but women. You know what I mean? There has been people come back to me and because I don't, you know, kiss and tell things. Oh, brother and such, he's married. He came and tried to talk to me. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna say no names. You know what I mean? But be careful tipping in them females' inboxes because you don't know. They could be family blood. They could be related to me. You understand? There's some people that could be related to me and I ain't gonna tell nobody. I ain't telling nobody who I'm related to. You know what I mean? Keep guessing. Keep guessing. You know But there has been some people come to me and this brother that inbox me and stuff like that. And some people may know these fellas. All right? What's up to Roxanne? Shout out to you. Jay Gonzalez, shout out to you. Her Wise. Fleming says, at the end of the day, when courting, everything done seeking the Lord's guidance and his wisdom and prayer. Absolutely. I agree with you on that one. You know what I mean? I definitely do. And that's what a lot of us look for. You know what I mean? But sometimes, you know, we let our flesh get in the way. All right? We're going to move on. We're not going to engage in no type of, you know, back and forth with trolls as far as like debating. We're here to talk about this topic. You know what I mean? I see a comment in the chat room. I'm just going to bypass. We don't got time for foolishness like that. You know what I mean? To the individual that I bypass what you wrote. Listen, go somewhere else with that, man. You know what I mean? Here to have an intellectual conversation. It's sad that you up in age and you're supposed to be a mature man and you coming on here trying to cause disturbance. That's sad, man. That's real sad. You know what I mean? Fella who wrote that comment, you're a married man. You married your high school sweetheart. You could be giving advice to the people on here. Instead, you want to try to start and cause a debate with a different topic. That's sad, man. Wow. But I'm not even going to read that comment. All right? Solid Grind says, I was shortcutting spellings to fit my complete comment. He says, my bad. It's okay. It's all good, man. You know? What's up to Desi? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Patrick T, you said if you can't date in holiness, how do you find a wife? Well, that's recommended. that's recommended that you know, try to, talk to somebody who's equally yoked. That's recommended. You know what I mean? I'm not taking that away at all. For sure. But some people, they date outside. You know what I mean? They do. At the end of the day. You know? Why would somebody not want to date in holiness? That's preferred. At the end of the day. What brother out there would not want a sister, right? Who doesn't believe in holiness? Who doesn't believe in God? You know what I mean? I don't know about that. So I don't know no man out here who's in holiness want to date an atheist. Now you go to that extreme. No, that's no good. You know? Levy said, what's up to Christopher Span? Shout out to you. Levy said, New Age Christians want to date like the world do. They want to test the waters before they get into a relationship with someone. Test the waters. In other words, bedroom activity. In urban terms, knocking boots. You know what I mean? Netflix and chill. Let's just keep it real. You're right. The flesh gets in the way. And that's why, it's good that the truth of God, recommends that, you go out with a group. Chaperone. You know what I mean? And things of that nature. Do it the proper way. Of course, it could be tough for some people because of the flesh and whatnot. But, hey, could be done. Patrick T says, Bible study in the bedroom, ? Come on now. Stop it, man. Stop it. Bible study in the bedroom? Yeah, okay. I don't care how much holiness you got in you. I don't care how much you pray, read the Bible, jump around. Bible study in the bedroom? No. Stop it. Let's just keep it real. Man gonna be looking at that woman's bosoms. I don't care if she's fully clothed, whatever the case may be. Yeah, alone. Thoughts come into play. You understand? This man said Bible study in the bedroom. That's a big no-no. That's just common sense. I ain't gonna be wanting to read no Bible if I got a female, right, in my bedroom. Let's keep it real. No man on here who ain't married is gonna want to read the Bible, right, with a woman in his bedroom. You know what I mean? You crazy. You crazy. I ain't gonna want to read no Bible. And fellas on here ain't gonna want to read no Bible. You know what I mean? If any fellow on here say, yeah, I read the Bible, I ain't gonna do nothing. I ain't gonna think about nothing. You a liar. You are a liar. Simple. You know what I mean? Can I give you a massage? Is your shoulder hurting? Yeah, let me rub on your shoulder. Yeah. How that feel? You start inching your thumb on her neck. Because you know that could be a sweet spot. Cut it out. Cut it out, Mr. Patrick T. Church of Christ. That's what y'all do? Y'all encourage the people to have Bible study in the bedroom courting? Yeah, okay. 9 months later. 9 months later. She knocked up. Then what? Then what, fella? Then what? Come on now. What's up to Leo? This man said, Bible study in the bedroom. Who's having Bible study in the bedroom and keeping it cordial? I don't care who you is. Woman, man. Yeah, all right. Okay. What's up? Bonnie says you can't go to the movies if your beans are overly jumping. Got that right. What's up to Vanita? Shout out to you. Jonas says, he says bedroom Bible studies. Wow. Oh man, this guy trying to get somebody in trouble. He trying to get somebody in trouble. That's the Church of Christ stuff. Even I know better. In fact, all the people who go to the Truth of God, who watch the Truth of God, you know better. You know good and well you ain't gonna want to study no Bible in the bedroom, man and woman in there. And y'all attracted to each other? Oh yeah, let's turn on the Truth of God. Yeah, okay. Right. Right. Sure. Together in the house? Alone? Right. What's up, the German? Appreciate that. Shout out to you. Bonnie says, if you're married, don't talk to me. I'm telling. Good. What's up, the PDD? Hope all is well. PDD says, I'd say to the fellas, seek God for your wife. Wonderful. Excuse me. Patrick T says, my fault. I thought dating wasn't allowed in Holiness. Oh, okay. You good. It's all good. Nah, it's allowed, but, like Jonah put up, the bylaws and stuff like that. You just got to do it with cautious. They just recommend you, do it with cautiousness, and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Because it's easy to fall into something. If you're alone with a woman. It's so easy. It's so easy. You could have been going to service every day, Monday through Sunday. And then you recommended Bible studies in the bedroom. You understand that? It's easy to fall into something if you got a woman in your bedroom, in your house, in your apartment. You know what I mean? I don't care if she's coming over to say, listen, I just want to sit down and read it, and you and I can go over the Truth of God message or whatever the case may be. Yeah, okay. Sure. All right. Fleming says, learn to communicate with each other. Leo says, for holiness to date is better to try and remain in public. He says, best you can for meetups. Once you're alone somewhere, temptation will arise. I agree. You're attracted to sister such and such. Sister such and such is attracted to brother whatnot. You know what I mean? They both been, practicing celibacy. You know what I mean? And they beans are jumping crazy. It ain't recommended to be left alone in the bedroom, Mr. Patrick T. You understand? They gonna get up. Listen, I know we made a mistake. We gotta repent. We ain't gonna do it no more. Yeah, okay. After they do it for the first time, oh, let's try again. It's gonna become a habit. You know what I mean? And they can't get enough. You know what I mean? Levy said, do you feel like it's a red flag that a Christian woman see a problem with a man not wanting to bring her to his house? Let me reread that. Levy says, do you feel like it's a red flag that a Christian woman see a problem with a man not wanting to bring her to his house? Yeah, it's a red flag. They ain't married. You know what I mean? They ain't married. You understand? Things can happen. You know what I mean? I don't know why she would be upset. I don't know why she would see that's a problem. You know what I mean? Because he don't want her to come over. Listen, that fella's doing the right thing. You know what I mean? Because the moment he said, listen, come over, that's it. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Listen, we know back in the day when we had women come over, Listen, we ain't want to play no Super Nintendo. We ain't want to play no Nintendo 64. You know what I mean? The woman come over. We don't want to just watch 106 in Park or New York Undercover. You understand? We had a motive. Parents wasn't home. We had a motive for that female coming over. Yeah, we go to some Chinese food, get some pizzas. Yeah, okay. Fellas, you know better. Come on, man. Come on. So I agree with the truth of God, with the bylaws and the teachings about that one. You know what I mean? Listen, even me. I ain't like Mr. Patrick T. I'm not having no bedroom Bible studies. I know for a fact if a woman come over here, right, and we alone, ain't gonna be no Bible studies. Let's just be honest. So it's best to try to do things the proper way. You know what I mean? To keep yourself from falling into something as far as like temptation. Especially if you're attracted to her. You know, nice skin and nice eyes and she smells good, skin is soft, nice shape. You understand? Nice spirit. And you want to mess all that up? No ways. She's a good woman. You know? You fall into something. Now you're both hooked and whipped. You're hooked on it now. Now you got to have it every other day. To all the rabbits out there, you got to have it 3 or 4 times a day. I know there's a bunch of rabbits out there. You know? Rabbits. Where TNT at? Rabbits, I say. Bunch of rabbits out there. You know? Some want it 5 times a day, 6 times a day. Man. A lot of testosterone and stuff like that. You know? This is a funny topic. I forgot who recommended this topic. I forgot. It was something like, how should we do meetups and dating or something like that? I forgot who emailed me. Forgot. You know what I mean? And it's late night. Mercy Carr says, blaming on the pastor in front of the congregation, she is pregnant. Prodigal son says, even dogs be getting theirs. You said, just be honest, just being honest. All right. Fleming says, Tony, don't think it's wise for a believer to court someone unsaved or court for fun, rather than finding a SPO use. Well, I mean, it's not recommended, or whatever the case may be, and it's not wise. But what I'm saying is, people gonna do what they're gonna do. If that brother in Holiness said, listen, man, I had bad experiences with sisters in Holiness, and he go out and marry a woman outside the church, she may have good morals and values, he marry her. You know what I mean? He's still married. You know what I'm saying is, people got their own mind, and they're gonna date who they want, and they're gonna marry whoever they want. You know what I mean? That's their decision. But it's recommended to date somebody, or marry somebody, right? Or talk to somebody that's in the church. What I mean by in the church, in God, you know, holiness, in Christ Jesus, right? But people gonna do what they're gonna do. Like I said, some people have bad experiences with folks in the church. It has happened. You know what I mean? What do you say about those people at Fleming's? You know, the brother done tried to talk to Sister A, Sister B, Sister C. Not because he's being a player, because he had a bad experience with Sister A. He said, listen, I'm going to try again. I'm going to talk to Sister B. Man, Sister B is meaner than the devil. She's still caught up in the world. Because there's some people in the churches, right? They're still caught up in the world. They're more meaner than the devil. You think this sister over here is, holy, sanctified, and whatever. You start talking to her. She going out to the clubs at night. She's ratchet. But when she come to church, she's holy, sanctified. What do you say about those type of people? If you keep trying to court and talk to somebody in holiness or whatnot, but you keep finding out that this person or persons, you know what I mean? They don't even represent holiness outside of the church. So what you gonna do? You're gonna keep trying, or, you know, because some people's minds get messed up. They're like, man, I thought this woman over here, right, who's in the church, I thought she was all right. Come to find out, she's meaner than the devil. You know what I mean? She don't follow the teachings. She just put on the front. So what do you say about that? What's up to David Griffin? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. All right. Bibby, that's how you pronounce your name. It says Old Testament, New Testament, New Testament. Y'all changed the book to suit you. I don't know what you're talking about. We having a basic conversation. Where do you see in the title anything upon the Bible about the Old Testament, New Testament? You know what I mean? Some people just come in here to try to start a debate. Get lost. You know what I mean? Get lost. Fleming says, too many gullible men, not discerning, easily persuaded by other women, no backbone, absolute turn off your rope. Appreciate that. What's up to Emery Lee? Shout out to you. Prodigal son, you funny, man. Jay Gonzalez says, how subtle or obvious should a man know that he's interested in a woman? Well, I can't answer that question because I don't know how every man's mindset is. I can't answer that. I can only answer for me. You know what I mean? In general. For sure. You know, a fella knows that, you know, when he's interested in a woman and holiness or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? And you said, how obvious should a man know that he's interested in a woman? I mean, sometimes it's right off the bat. Sometimes you see a sister, like, wow, man, woo. Wow. You know what I mean? You don't just want to go head on like Mr. Aaron Michaels. You know what I mean? Mr. Aaron Michaels, I see you out there. You don't want to be like that fella. You know what I mean? I advise, you know, folks to go listen to the messages on that. You understand? I think Gino said when he met his wife, she was jumping rope. He was jumping rope. They was in their teenage years and whatnot. You know what I mean? So obviously he had to, you know, approach her respectfully and, you know, because he found interest in her. Sometimes you just know. Sometimes it may take some time, right? Sometimes you got to check the temperature. Now we got technology. We got Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. Sometimes, you know, not on a nosy tip, but on an interesting tip. You know, you want to see, okay, does she has a husband? Let me go check some pictures out. Let me go check the status out, or whatever the case may be. You know, check the temperature. I mean, because you don't know. Sometimes you don't know. I mean, you want to check the temperature, whatever the case may be. Leo says, Pastor lost his marbles when he first saw his wife. All right, we got a couple more minutes left. We're going to knock off. I know it's a good conversation. I started late. Please forgive me. And, you know, hopefully we could be on a little earlier tomorrow. And we could be on a little longer. For sure. So it's my fault that, kind of my fault. We got on late. Patrick T says, I'm going to have to come on your show and do a snapshot of my book. I think it'll be very helpful for the brothers and sisters. It might not be compatible for the young, but the older folks could. Well, here's the deal, Mr. Patrick T. You represent the Church of Christ. You know what I mean? I don't endorse the Church of Christ. Now, if you got advice because you have been married and you want to give your experience upon your marriage, sure. You know what I mean? But I don't endorse the Church of Christ, because what you may have in your book is influences from the Church of Christ. You know what I mean? See what I mean? You said your book, this is my book, 6 days and 3 months to marriage. I don't agree with that. People in Holiness don't agree with that. You said shows how to find a Christian husband and wife in 3 months. If it don't work out, you only lost 3 months. What? I totally disagree with that. I'm not looking, a person shouldn't be looking for a timestamp, whether 3 months or 4 months or whatever, to find if the fella is seeking a wife. You know what I mean? Like Gino preaches, take your time. Take your time, I made a mistake. You know what I mean? When the situation happened, how long ago was that, Jonah? 6 months ago? You know what I mean? You mess around and be like me. You understand? You mess around and make a mistake like me. Being too fast and hard-headed. Blame myself for that one. You know what I mean? It was kind of similar to that 3-month thing. Mr. Patrick T, don't move too fast. He says the proper way is not dating. It's sinful, ain't it? It depends how. What you mean? It depends how. Dating is not a sin. It depends what you do when you are dating. You know what I mean? I just classify dating as getting to know a person. What you gonna do? Just meet a woman? I want to marry you. Let's get married. Let's go to Vegas. Let's elope. How you gonna get to know the person? What's wrong with you? Dating is a sin. So it's a sin to get to know a woman? You said to me dating is sex? Well, that's you. You thinking filthy. I don't think that way. You thinking that way. I don't think that way. I don't think dating is sex. You're the one that's thinking filthy. I'm not. I'm thinking about, you got to get to know the person. You understand? Of course, that runs through people's minds. I don't care if you're in Holiness. You think about that when you're courting somebody. It goes through your mind, even if it's at least a crumb. It's going to go through your mind. You're going to have some format of conversation. And you got to be mature to have that conversation. You can't be thinking about laying down with her if you're talking about that conversation. Mature people gotta have that conversation, for sure. He said, do you feel like a Christian should have options when dating? Uh-oh. You ain't gonna get me caught up in that. You ain't gonna get me caught up in that. You ain't gonna get me caught up in that, Levy. No. You said options. What you mean by options is if a brother got sister A over here, he talking to sister A, sister B, she's brown skinned. Sister B is light skinned. Sister D, she got a nice little shape. Sister E, she know how to cook good. No. You ain't gonna get me caught up in that. I ain't getting caught up in that one. No, no. You understand? No. No way. I don't think it's healthy. Because if you are in a church and you're talking to all these women just so you can have options, that's going to cause problems. Because they might be cool with each other. You causing a disruption in there. You know what I mean? Sister A, you know, she talking to Sister B like, man, I'm talking to this fellow. You talking to him too? Wow. He said that too? Wow. So I don't think it's healthy to talk to different women. You understand? Nah, in the church. No way. No way, it ain't healthy. You understand? I know a lot of us back in the day, we was playing players and we talked to 5 women and 10 and 15 at one time. It ain't healthy. You know what I mean? And you wouldn't want nobody to do that to you, right? You would want to think that you are the only man that she's talking to or interested in. You would want that. Because it's like if she is talking to different men or you talking to different women, you already putting something in the air right in the beginning. How's she gonna trust you if y'all was to get married? You know what I mean? You're gonna have options when you get married. You know what I mean? So that's why I think that's just unhealthy. You know what I mean? Emery says, to those who are celibate, it is best to let a man, woman know straight up on the first day meeting them. That way you know what their intentions are. I've been celibate since 2017. It's a blessing. Well, that's a good thing. It is a lot of people in holiness and whatnot who are practicing celibacy. That's cool. That's cool. I mean, you know, that's pretty good to let a person know. You understand? That's going to come in the conversation. I'm pretty sure. You know, that's like I said earlier. Mature people can have those type of conversations, and whatnot. All right. What's up to Indoor? Shout out to you. What's up to Sion? Shout out to you. What's up to Frozen Mountain? All right, we gotta end this live. We gotta end this live. Hopefully, maybe I have a part 2 tomorrow to continue on. I would like to continue this conversation for the most part. And it's my fault that, you know, we came on here a little late, whatever the case may be. Had to handle some stuff. And we'll be looking forward to part 2 tomorrow. Hopefully, we can start this thing early. If I didn't get to your comments, you know what I mean? Hopefully, you can save them for tomorrow. If we happen to, you know, talk about part 2. You say you got you says I have a psychology degree. Okay, I mean, hey, that's cool. You know, more power to you. I'm pretty sure other people in here got a degree in college. You know what I mean? Other people. I think I got about 90-some credits right now. You know what I mean? That's cool. It says a man only needs 3 months to decide if he wants to marry a woman or not, and that's almost universal in every culture. I don't know nothing about that. You know what I mean? 3 months. It could be a day, it could be a couple of years. I mean, it's over 8 billion people in this world. How could you answer for all those people? How? Over 8 billion people in this world. And you got that type of knowledge to speak for everybody? That's impressive. That's real impressive. You understand that? Wow. Man, where do you get that knowledge from? What college did you go to? Harvard, Yale, Cornell, Princeton? Wow, that's an Ivy League man right there. What's up to TNT? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. All right, we got to go. Lord willing, we'll have part 2 tomorrow. Earlier, we can talk about it a little longer. I got to get some sleep for work tomorrow. God bless to everybody out there. If I didn't shout you out, please forgive me. God bless to you all. I'm Tony Harvin, Tony Harvin Network. I'm out. Peace.